All right, so as you guys can see, it is the next day.
Yeah, I mean, if you can see that, but obviously it's just the end of the video.
But yeah, we were so tired last night getting back to our hotel. We really wanted to wait till we were able to kind of really give you guys our full opinion on the party last night.
Yeah, we made it 31 hours without sleep.
Yeah.
We love the party. Don't recommend that part of it, though.
Yeah. Definitely don't recommend trying to stay up for more than 24 hours and accomplish a Disney party. But that being said, it being our first time at Disneyland, I had a lot of fun. I really did. I enjoyed it. There was a lot to see and do, and obviously it was very new for us, so there was that excitement as well.
So I'm sure you'll see through the video. It's a little bit choppy because, like Nathan said, it's our first time at Disneyland, even though it's California Adventure. So we're gonna say probably Disneyland at the same time. It was our first time at Disneyland, so I didn't really know what to film. Combined with the Oogie Boogie Bash, which we haven't been on this coast too, so there was just kind of a lot of things. And this is probably part 2 of that video because it's gonna be so long.
Yeah.
We loved it though. We loved every second of it. We do have some critiques, and we'll talk about them towards the end, but it's more about the park than it was about Oogie Boogie Bash. Oogie Boogie Bash was well put on.
Yeah.
It was super fun. There's one part I'm sure we're going to get to that we talked about that was so totally my favorite of Oogie Boogie Bash, which was the forest trail.
That was really
And we'll
cool.
talk about that in a minute too, but overall, it was a really, really fun experience.
Yeah, it started with us leaving our hotel because we were a little upset with the room. So if you guys want to find out more about that, make sure to check out the link for the other video about our hotel stay. So we were a little bummed about our hotel room being warm, and so we were like, let's just go to the park. Let's see what we can get done down there. And
we actually didn't plan on going to the park when we first got there. We were just planning on going to downtown Disney, getting something to eat. It was our goal. We're like, let's just get there early. Let's just grab a bite to eat. We'll hang out outside the park, get some shots, some thumbnails and stuff like that done. But we didn't plan on going right into California Adventure.
No, so we showed up, and they were actually letting people in before 2:30, which was, we were like, oh, okay, like if you guys are gonna let us in, then sure. So we just we got into the park by 2:30. We headed over to guest relations, got my DAS, so we'll talk about that in another video. So if you want to learn more about the Disney DAS Pass, make sure you guys check out that video. That'll be coming out shortly. And once we got that all set up, we were just like, yeah, let's just start figuring out where to go. And honestly, this was the first time in a very long time I have ever experienced going into a park and not knowing where to start.
I wouldn't say that extreme. It's honestly like every other Disney park. It's just a big circle in all reality that offshoots to other lands. So it wasn't really overwhelming. I think our first thought was like, let's try to get all the rides in before the Oogie Boogie Bash starts, because again, we never rode any of the rides at Disneyland. And so we were like, let's just hit those out. And so we just really, that's kind of where we started. And we just sort of headed over and just hit stuff on our way through.
Yeah, so our first ride was Monsters Incorporated, which I thought was really cute. And the animatronics were kind of hit or miss, but the story was cute. The part that both Gary and I really loved was there's a room with all of the doors going in and out, and honestly, the way they set that room up was really cool. I really enjoyed that part of the ride.
Yeah, for sure. The benefit too about the rides that were like, there weren't much wait times other than Radiator Springs and Incredi Coaster. Those were the only 2 ones with like a 50-minute wait time. The other ones were all between like 10 and 20 minutes.
And if you think about it, every ride was under an hour wait.
Yeah, but like I said, the only ones that were even close to an hour were only the Incredi Coaster, and maybe Guardians of the Galaxy might have been up there too. But that was really it. So if those 3 rides, if you can knock them out early in the day or even at the end of the day when the lines are waiting, you could easily hit that park up in probably about 4 to 5 hours.
Yeah, and then after that, we had a return time for my DAS Pass for the Carsland ride, so we rode that. And I have to say that not only did the land impress me, but so did the ride. The ride was just fantastic. They did such a good job designing it, the layout. I really thought when we got onto the ride that it was going to be like Test Track. If you've ever rode Test Track at Epcot, I was like, the cars look similar, the track looks similar, but honestly, they just don't even compare.
And I'll say the ride is amazing. It's my favorite ride there. I would echo the same thing. The coolest part though is they actually took Radiator Springs, that one strip that you see in the movie, and basically recreated it.
Replicated it to a T.
So unlike Star Wars Land, where they just threw some crap in there and thought, oh, everyone's gonna go because it's Star Wars Land, they literally took the movie and put it there, which was so amazing and so thoughtful. And even the details, like Luigi's tire shop, the alternate gas one that the hippie goes to.
The blinking traffic light.
Flo's Cafe. I mean, and the street was done perfectly too. Like, it was really awesome, really well thought out, and definitely one of the best lands I think that we have been to in a while. I mean, Toy Story Land in Hollywood Studios, I think, is probably up there too. It's like his backyard, but really this was like just so out of the movie. It was so well done.
Yeah.
That's the one land there that if you have extra time, that's where you should spend it. After you've rode the rides you want to spend, go spend it in Radiator Springs, because that was like the coolest land with the little details.
Yeah.
And during Halloween with like the ghosts, the spiders as like distributor caps and stuff, totally well thought out.
Yeah, the tiny little details,
Loved it.
Attention to details in that land were fantastic. And like Gary said at the party, they just kind of took it up an extra level with their little attention to detail, the way that they changed words around on the signs, and how they tried to enhance things to make it look like the town of Radiator Springs decorated for Halloween. I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And then after that, we were hungry, so we went and grabbed a corn dog. Also, I think my blood sugar was starting to bottom out as well, so we were just trying to find a quick snack. We had a return time for the Incredi coaster, but it wasn't quite time yet. So we went and grabbed a bite, and I have to say, just talking about our experience, that was kind of where we hit our first wall after being up for over 24 hours. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah, the corn dog was solid, and it was right outside the Pixar Pier, so we got to kind of sit there and just kind of see the people coming in and out of the Pixar Pier. So that was fun. And the hot dog wasn't bad. The corn dog, it was well fried, but the bottom of it was kind of over fried, so I don't know how they did that, but...
yeah, it was kind of cool sitting there and watching everybody kind of pass by, and then it was time for us to ride the Incredi coaster, and I was nervous. Like, I was like, I'm always nervous before I ride a new ride anyways, just in general, but I was just like, it looks so huge when you see it as you come up on it, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, what is this ride gonna be like? And we got in line, and I asked the cast member, like, hey, can I bring my bag on with me? Because I was worried about bringing my bag on, because again, didn't know much about the ride. And he's like, no, you're fine. And then I think after he said that, my worries were reassured that this ride was not going to be like too crazy. And we were like, yeah, we're just going to do it. And I honestly really, really loved the Incredi coaster. It was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice outside roller coaster. You'll see, we put footage in of it, and we talked about it afterwards. So those kind of things are so true. A day later, I mean, it was the second best ride for me. I liked Radiator Springs just a little bit better, just from a theming perspective and stuff. I just think it's done better in Radiator Springs. But it was a really cool coaster. I love the reframe that they did with the Incredibles. The last scene with Jack eating the Num Num being like super huge with Edna, super cute in that corner thing. And one of the things I was worried about was like once you go over the dips, you'd be going too fast to like see them in the tunnels. But that's just not the case. You get to see like it slows down at those dips and stuff. So you get plenty of time to like see all the little like things that they did. So I love the roller coaster, and it was definitely a fun ride.
And if you've ever been to Walt Disney World, the way that I would compare it is it's kind of a little bit like Rock and Roller Coaster meets Everest. So it's a little blend of the two, where you have the locket launches like you do on Rock and Roller Coaster, which was really cool. But you also have the really fast like corner spins like you get on Everest. So
but you don't go backwards. So that's
yeah, you just definitely don't go backwards. But it was really cool, and it does have one loop where you go upside down,
which looks amazing at night.
Yeah, it really does. And I have to say, like, I really like that ride. I would definitely do it again, and I had a lot of fun on it.
I can understand, though, the frustrations that people had with Pixar's Pier looking at it. It's just like a high-class carnival. It really would be what I'd say. Like, it's just carnival rides. A little bit nicer. Like, the jellyfish ride's a little bit nicer. I think that would be in a carnival. But it's the same kind of up-and-down tech that's at carnivals. The swings are the same. The flying boats are the same. So that was a little disappointing in the Pixar Pier piece. And the one thing I don't understand is we didn't ride Little Mermaid because we were so exhausted.
We were so tired.
But I don't understand how it fits in there. It's not a Pixar movie. I get that it's supposed to be on water, I guess, and that's a lake. I guess that's the closest they had, but it's a lake, not the ocean. So then again, I don't understand. It's like Little Mermaid's there. Then they have a Coco event that we actually did see while we were eating our hot dog. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing at Epcot. So if you've been to Epcot, it's a little bit. There's a little more people doing it, but it's the same thing that they do at Epcot. Then right next to that's like this fancy sunglass stand, and then the corn dog stand. I just don't understand the theming in that area.
It flows.
It doesn't mix together. It really doesn't feel natural. That would be my biggest critique. And then you leave there and you go to like the water slide in Soarin'. So it's kind of like this like grizzly, foresty area.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like, I guess, from what I originally understand from the concept of California Adventure, it's supposed to be like the California Redwoods, like Northern California. Like the whole park originally was supposed to be a celebration of California.
Yeah, I'm not critiquing the wood area. The wood area is okay. I mean, at least it was consistent. But I'm just saying what it transitions to. Like, I don't understand that piece right there with the Little Mermaid, going into Pixar Pier, the corn dog stand, the sunglass stand, the Coco thing. It's really like, what are you trying to do in this area? Because that was
it just feels like they're lost.
Confusing.
They're a little lost and they just don't know where they want to go, which, okay, whatever, but let's put our best Imagineers on it and let's just fix it.
But when you walk in the park, and I guess I should have talked about this a little earlier, and you look to the left and they had that scene that's on the building with the trees and stuff, and you're going down, kind of looks like Hollywood Avenue in Hollywood Studios. That was freaking amazing. It looked so freaking awesome. I cannot tell you, that was just so cool. It looked like the road would go on forever and ever, and beautiful sun, beautiful clouds.
Yeah, I
so
really
like that area was great,
yeah.
and then it just kind of gets confusing in that one spot.
Very true. So next up, we were tired. Our plan at that point was just to go find a place to sit because it was only 4:30, 5 o'clock. We really were gonna go try and find a place to hang out until the party started, just kind of rest a little bit, see if we could recharge, and we ended up taking a detour into Avengers Campus, and we ended up stumbling upon something that I would consider a legit tip for the party if you guys are going to the Oogie Boogie Bash. But right as the party starts, right at like 5:30, 6 o'clock, you can get in line to ride the Spider-Man web slingers ride.
Yeah, we actually went over there to see the Spider-Man show where the flipping animatronic, and we were walking in there, just everyone's showing their band at the ride, and we're like, what's going on? So we asked the cast member, like, oh yeah, if you're at the party, you can ride web slingers. I think you can ride as many times as you want. We did only ride it once, and we'll tell you why when we get to the end. But we got to ride web slingers. It was super cool. It was a really neat ride. It's kind of like Midway Mania. Without the guns or anything, so you're not doing the pulley thing. It's actually your hands going out and doing this, and it was a really, really fun ride.
Yeah, I honestly hadn't watched anything online about it. I didn't really know much about it except for a few of the blips that I had heard from people that said that they were kind of disappointed in the ride because they do have merchandise that you can buy to enhance your experience in the ride, and so we were just kind of not really sure what to expect when we came in, but I was pleasantly surprised.
I had watched videos on it, so I knew what the ride was about, and I knew kind of how it worked. Overall, it's a decent ride, but it shouldn't be the cornerstone of a land. Mm-hmm. After all that money they spent on Avengers Campus, it's literally just Midway Mania. With different overlay.
I have to say, too, as somebody who hadn't watched anything about the ride, and the people that were in front of us in line, very confusing as to what you were actually supposed to do
that's true.
On that ride. Disney does not, I think, do a good job explaining what is expected of you as someone who rides the ride, what you should do.
Like, they act like in some of the things that you're supposed to, like, shoot out and then hold it and pull. That doesn't work at all. As soon as you do this, the rope ends. So maybe with the add-ons you can hold on to the rope, but you can't do any like pulling or anything. That's total BS.
I had a few times where I saw it was pulling things back, but it was very...
But it does it by itself. Yeah. Again, once you do this, the thing just cuts off. So the thing just shoots out as a string and the string just dies. So the whole, you pull it back, you don't. I mean, you can try if you want, I guess, because Nacy says you can. But when I tried it, it didn't make any difference, honestly. And she was blowing me out when I was trying to do it. So the thing to do is just fire.
I was just doing this a bunch of times. And honestly, as I'm doing it now, a day later, I can feel it in my biceps. It's a very physically demanding ride.
Yeah, I wouldn't do the Spider-Man thing. Do it like Iron Man and kind of push out, and it'll do the same thing. I just did this, and it would shoot the lasso. So do it more like kind of like an Iron Man blaster type of thing than doing this.
Legit tip.
Because it takes too long to do that, and especially if you don't have the add-ons, there's no reason to do that motion when the other one's just going to pick up just as well.
So yeah, if you're going to the Oogie Boogie Bash and you're not there for the day, just keep in mind that you can ride this ride that normal day patrons have to have a virtual queue to get on. So that was actually a really cool surprise that we ran into.
And you can ride it more than once. So unlike normal, even if you get in the virtual queue, you can only ride it once. Here you can ride it as many times as you want. I don't know why you would. It has a decent amount of replay. I mean, I could definitely ride it a few times, but really it's the same 3 or 4 scenes over and over again, so I don't know how much rewritability it does have.
Yeah, and I don't remember what our final scores were between the two of us, but we did the best in our car. We definitely carried our car for sure.
I had 197,000 and Nacy had 170.
Yeah. So yeah, but our total team score was somewhere around 650, I think. Somewhere around there. So it was kind of cool. It was we definitely didn't make the high score list.
The high score was like 850,000 somewhere around there.
Yeah. So we didn't make the high score, but it was a fun experience. It was definitely cool. And then we started doing the trick-or-treat trails. And those started at 6 o'clock. They have characters in the trick-or-treat trails where you kind of interact with them, you kind of don't, but they just kind of talk to you as you walk by. So those were really cool. My favorite obviously was the Oogie Boogie one. He was the one character that I really wanted to interact with during the party, and I got to do it, and that was really cool. And you can go through the trick-or-treat trails as many times as you want. So either bring like a really big bag to throw all your candy in, or just you gotta have something to keep dumping in if you're gonna continue to do the
bags they give
trails.
you, they do give you a bag when you get there, so you don't have to bring your own if you don't want to, but they're not that big.
They're not very big.
So after like 1, maybe 2 trails, they're gonna be pretty packed. So if your thing is to get the candy, and that's an option to do for sure, definitely bring a bigger bag. Oogie Boogie was cool. It was more than just an Oogie Boogie character. I mean, he was there, he was awesome, but the whole like place, and you'll see in our video, is like crazy with like basically Night Before Christmas stuff. So it's totally worth it, Oogie Boogie. The rest of them though, I don't know. Agatha, Nacy went to Agatha first. She didn't actually go to Oogie Boogie first, so she saw Agatha first.
It's okay.
If you like Agatha, that's totally cool. I understand why you want to see her, and she was a great Agatha. The character was really great, but there's not much to it. You're basically in front of the Doctor Strange. They have a TV in the background playing the red thing from WandaVision, and her there, and that's kind of it. So it's cool if that's a character you like, but for me at least, that's not why I went there. I don't go to the parks to meet characters. That's more of Nacy's thing, but it's not bad, and the candy's okay, but it's up to you.
And I would say legit tip for the party with the characters that I did interact with. They seem to interact with people who are wearing costumes more than people who weren't wearing costumes.
Or
so whether you're an
kids.
adult or a kid, if you had a costume on, they pretty much asked you like, who are you and what are you trying to be? And that was pretty cool. So just keep that in mind. If you're wearing a costume, you might get some more interaction from the other guest, or not other guests, the other characters.
And another legit tip is wait till the end of the night to trick or treat, because at the beginning of the night, that's when because as soon as it turns 6 o'clock, that's when you can start trick or treating. So that's when everybody is there. The line for the Cheshire Cat, the line for the Mad Hatter was literally like a mile long. But at the end of the night, you could have just walked right through there. So legit tip, if you don't have that as a priority, save that till the end and do it towards the end of the night.
Definitely a huge tip. We didn't go and see a lot of the characters because again, we were really tired and trick-or-treating wasn't really our huge thing, but we did see the characters that we came out to see, so that was important. But the next big highlight of the night, I think, was doing the Villains Forest.
That was the coolest part of the Oogie Boogie Bash for me.
Yeah, we had to wait. I think we waited somewhere around 20 to 30 minutes for it. It was a very long line, but as the line was moving, we noticed that it was getting shorter and shorter behind us, like not as many people. So we definitely got in the line at the end of the rush.
And again, so that's the same tip as before, legit tip with the characters. wait till the end of the night. Again, that doesn't start until the sun goes down. So if you try to get in line, like we did it right after the first parade, thinking that during that first parade people would be at the parade, when in reality most people seem to go to the last parade, and we're doing that at the first parade. So just kind of legit tip there.
It wasn't a terrible wait, but it was a wait, and honestly I have to say they piped in the smell of roses for the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland. They had the Cheshire Cat, they had Scar, they had Dr. Facilier, they had, I believe,
they had all the big bands.
Maleficent. Yeah, and it's not like you're going to see the actual character. It's really more of a light and sound show.
Yeah, they use projection tech to put the Cheshire Cat. He's basically out of Oogie Boogie's worms and stuff. That's how they get the Cheshire Cat. Same thing with the Queen, the evil Queen from Alice in Wonderland with the roses. But then they also project her with Oogie Boogie's like bugs and stuff. It is super, super cool. The projections are amazing. There's one section where you walk in and there's trees and they have projections all over it with lights. Oh my gosh, it was just so beautiful.
Cool.
I don't know how well the camera picked it up, but in person it was really just beautiful.
Transcended, completely transcended into this forest. And then the way that they ended it, like you went through all of the villains and then they ended it with this like really positive, I believe it's supposed to be like the fairies, like it's supposed to be like how the fairies protect you, from what I was reading from like a storyline. But basically it's like this really calming music and you go through this bright light and it's just really pretty. Like I honestly say if there's one thing you have to do when you go is the Villains Forest.
Yeah, I mean, meet the characters that you go there to meet. I would say that would be the one thing, too. But the Villain Forest was to me, the coolest thing that they actually do at the Oogie Boogie Bash. And it's different than anything that we've seen at Disney World.
Yeah, Disney World has nothing like this. We did the Mickey's Not So Scary. And while that's a cool event in and of itself, I think they definitely tried to bring a different element to this type of party, which I thought was really fun.
Yeah.
And so we didn't stay for the parade, and we didn't.
We did see the parade though from a distance. You'll see some of it in our shots. Again, it was a standard parade. Nothing super. Like they have some cool characters you can see. You can see Disney, Mickey and Minnie in their costumes and stuff. But they also have meet and greets throughout the night if you want to meet them. So nothing super fancy. We didn't get much of it on tape though.
One of the cool things though I will talk about really quick is I did pick up the Jack Skeleton popcorn bucket, which did cost me a pretty penny, but I can't wait to add this to our Oogie Boogie that we got at Mickey's Not So Scary a few years ago. So this is going to go up in our house, obviously not on because batteries, but he changes colors, which is like really cool. Like you can change what color he is, and I think it was worth it just cause. So yeah, I really enjoyed picking up some Disney Nightmare Before Christmas merch.
But there really wasn't that much. There was a Spirit jersey that we saw. There was there was a couple pins that we could never get to because people were always crowding them. There's a stainless steel cup that Nacy also got from one of the restaurants. But really, overall, not that much merch.
Exclusive merch, yeah.
Or food. There's some fries that you can get, but none of them really interested us, and we were just tired, so we just had some standard sort of burgers and stuff. Nothing super fancy.
Yeah.
So there are like 3 different types of fries that you can get that are special to the event. But that's really it. That was one of the disappointing parts for me. I figured there would be more snacks and candies like they do at Disney World, and there wasn't very much of that when we talk about like specific to the event.
No, and but overall I had a really good time, and we ended up leaving the park before the second parade, which was really actually good timing on our part. Disneyland also stayed open till 11 o'clock that night, so we were kind of in the mix of people leaving Disneyland as well.
We left literally right before they were setting up, and the parade was coming as we left. Just because we didn't want to deal with the traffic rush, and our feet were so sore, and we were just tired.
Yeah, we were like, okay, we're good, we're done, we'll be back.
Yeah.
And we definitely will be back. Another thing to think about too is it is a very long walk. As people who had never been to Disneyland, and let alone Disneyland post-pandemic, there are no trams being run, and it's about a mile walk from the parking garage to the parks.
Yeah, if you have any ideas, comment below, because we're going to be going back to Disneyland. Like, are there quicker ways to get back to your car?
Is there a better parking garage to go to?
Should we not have done that? Should we Uber or something? Because that was one thing that frustrated us. It was a long walk. The trams aren't running, and either's the monorail. So it was just it was long and arduous, especially at the end of the night. It's not so bad at the beginning of the day, even though it's a little long, but at the end of the night, man, your feet are sore, you're super tired. You don't want to walk that 20-minute walk back to your car.
Yeah, and one of the other frustrating things was once we did make it back to the parking garage, only one elevator seemed to be running.
To level 5, yeah.
So I can only imagine if we had been in the rush of the close of park, how backed up it would have been. It wasn't terribly bad, but we did end up waiting for about 2 elevator cycles before we had a chance to get on and get back to our car.
And it seemed only 2 of the 3 elevators at our stop were even working, so that was probably the not so fun part of the night. But overall, again, like I said, really fun experience, totally worth it. If you have tickets, that's great. They're sold out, so be on the lookout next year if you're interested in going.
I think I would go back next year. I would definitely try again next year, and
I wouldn't do the 31 hours, but
no.
I would definitely try it again next year, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I hope you guys enjoyed our recap of our Oogie Boogie night.
Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed the 2 videos that we have, like overviewing our first day at Disneyland and our first Oogie Boogie Bash.
Yeah, and I hope you guys have a great Halloween. And
yeah, if you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe, ring that notification bell. Make sure to like the video.
And we will see you guys in our next adventure.
Yeah, come get lost with us again.
Yeah,
bye.
Bye.